What's up? What's up, you guys? Welcome to the Connect 0007 podcast, and I am your host, Thaddeus Sims, and I am so excited that today is Tuesday. You guys have no idea. This is like my favorite day out of the week. I'm off. So, all right. The topic for this podcast is on intimacy, and we're choosing this topic because, like I said before in my previous podcast, there is some hiccups that people have when connecting with people, and this is one of them. So a lot of people gave me some of their feedback with some of the things they struggle with, and this is one of them. And so we're going to talk about it. Now, for intimacy, I really wanted to make sure I honed down on it. So I was like, you know what, let me look at the definition of intimacy. And it's basically meaning closely acquainted or being close. And I don't know, for me, sometimes when I hear intimacy, I think of like, other stuff. But I was like, let me make sure I get this right before I, be off. So before diving in, I had to share my fun fact. And honestly, I thought this one was a pretty cute little fun fact. So here we go. There's a prison in Washington that offers inmates pet cats for rehabilitation. Now, I found that to be a little cute because me ain't gonna put myself in that position. But let's just say I knew somebody named John, and he's in there, and he's like, "Bruh, I got a whole cat in here," and it's just like, "What? I ain't think y'all get one of those over there." And next thing you know, it's an orange cat, and they're like, well, you can't name it Garfield, so you gotta do something different. And me knowing Johnny would probably name it Lily or Lang Lang or Lolo, because Johnny's different. And I'm just like, bruh, Lily the cat, like, bruh, you gonna forever remember that cat. So if you ever had to do security questions, like, boom, your first cat was Lily. And it's just, I don't know, I just felt like so excited, like I was just, I know, that gave me life. So yeah, that was that tangent. All right, so let's hop into this particular podcast. So with this one, I did it in bullet point style, just to really tackle into just intimacy when connecting with someone. So first thing is, when it comes to intimacy and that with another person or those around you, you have to be open yourself first. And how you do that is you want to create the space in the relationship to share personal things with another. So it all starts, you're going to always hear me say this. It's always going to start with you. And you're going to want to, just set the tone in the relationship, or creating that space like, hey, share something about yourself. I personally, when it comes to connecting with people, majority of you already know that once I meet you, after we get through the, what's your name? What's my name? What you do, what I do. Once we get past that, I just jump right into it, because it's just like, I don't care for surface level, talk. And I don't care for surface level relationships. Like, if we connect, we need to connect. I need to know you deeper. Like, so and everyone knows I will always ask, hey, are you okay with deep questions? And they're like, oh, wow. Okay. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. So, and I just ask questions. It's not to pry, but it's just like, hey, if we're going to connect, let's connect. We're not at work. You know what I mean? We're not at some other random meeting. Even then, I don't care if we're at work. But even then, it's just like, let's go deeper. And I love to be close or get close with people that I meet. It's just, I feel like that's just the basis of connecting with the person. But that's just me. You guys don't have to be that way. That's just me. So going on with that, another bullet point is learn about the person and try not to focus on you. Focus on them by asking questions. So like I just said, I'll ask questions about the person. And my typical usual questions is, hey, are you comfortable with, me asking you deep questions and stuff like that? And if they say yes, then it's like, okay, cool. And if they say no, that's cool too. I know, okay, we're just going to keep it where we're at. And that's just where it's going to be until, they prove otherwise. But some of the questions, I'll ask is, hey, do you focus on, your self-health? Or, what's important to you, health, family, what it is. Like I genuinely like to know that, or what are you interested in? And that's usually my usual question is like, they may say they really want to do, surprisingly, I meet a lot of people who are into business, and they'll tell me particular businesses that they want to do. And for me, I'm not the type to say, oh, okay, that's cool. I want to know why you want that why do you want to build that particular business? Like, what is the reason behind that? I always feel like there's a reason or basically a source behind things. And I want to know that source if I want to, connect with you. Also, it helps me to remember certain things about you. Like I met someone who really likes to, it's like a production business of his that he likes. And I asked him why that particular thing. And he loves art. He loves just kind of everything about it. And he wants to help people in that like area. So he wants to build a business around that. And I was like, okay. So it helped me to remember that, okay, he wants to do business because art and the things. So it also gets deeper with, okay, so art. So why art? Like, can you draw, and I ask them, and then vice versa. They'll ask questions back too, because sometimes I will tell you this, if you ask people questions and they're not really asking you back any questions, it's kind of like two things. One, the person's really not that friendly, or two, they're just like answering the question or whatever. And also with that is people love to talk about themselves. So, that's a good thing. So keep that in mind. And, but again, they'll ask questions too, like, okay, what are you into? And when they ask questions back, for me, it's just like, okay, this is going to be good. We're going to flow good because you're able to communicate as well and stuff like that. You're interested in me. I'm interested in you. I want to know, these different things about yourself because, hey, we're connecting. So, and there's other different questions you can ask. Like if you see something that they're wearing, you know what I mean? You can literally ask them questions like, hey, why did you wear that? Or, oh, that's a cool thing. Do you like so-and-so? Ask questions, and be genuine. Let me always say that, because I've met people who will ask other people's questions, but it's just nothing genuine behind it. They're just asking to ask. It can be awkward. And some people are like, eh. But if you're genuine, you really want to know, and you're asking questions and you're showing interest, genuine interest, you will see that connections will just be amazing. Okay. Next one is, after you've, stayed in contact with the person, which, by the way, let's just say that you are meeting someone new and you actually have a good connection. It is perfectly okay to ask that person, hey, let's stay in contact. I do it all the time when I'm out and about and I meet new people. And if I genuinely feel like, wow, that was a really good conversation, I want to stay in contact with you. And some people, that may feel awkward. In the beginning, it was awkward for me. I had to learn to get through that. But, simply being honest, I've always found honesty is the best policy. And just say, hey, it was really cool connecting with you. I always immediately say, hey, do you have a Facebook or an Instagram? Because some people may not be used to just giving out their phone numbers. So I always say that first, like, hey, do you have a Facebook or Instagram or whatever social media that you use the most? Some people use Snapchat, some people use Twitter. I don't use none of those. But if that's the one you use the most, just say, hey, man, or hey, do you have Instagram or Facebook? I would like to stay in contact with you. Boom. And some people may say they don't have social media, and it's like, oh, okay, that's cool too. It's like, well, do you have a cell or anything? And boom, they'll, they understand you basically wanted to stay in contact with them. They know why you want to stay in contact with them. It's genuine, and they don't feel, uncomfortable about it. So by all means, that's something, you may want to get used to. So for now, just stick with like a Facebook, because that's just super easy, and go from there. So that ties in with the next thing I want to talk on, is staying in a constant communication with that person. And I say with the constant communication, it depends on a few factors, the relationship and your schedules and what you guys do, throughout the week. So for me, I have friends who I stay in constant communication with, but it may not be on a weekly basis or a daily basis. It may be like every week or two. Some friends every month. And that's just based off of our schedule, what we do, our, times of operation, so there's my close friends. I call them every day. And if they don't answer, it's always going to be an issue, and I'm going to be dramatic with them, but I love them. And they signed up for this. They can't really walk out of the relationship or friendship. So those particular ones are kind of screwed. But for the others, you know what I mean? I stay in contact with them, weekly. There's a good friend of mine. He disappears from the world and comes back. So I'll shoot him a message and he'll respond either that day or the next day or that week, but I understand his schedule. But you just want to kind of keep that communication with whoever, because, people change, things change, people move, it's just different stuff. And, by you guys staying in contact and whatnot, it's just really good. You're keeping that connection open. And I just feel like communication is key. And also, too, guys, it's okay if you have some friends that you talk to like once or twice every year. That's completely fine. I have a few friends like that, and it's nothing like wrong with that. Hell, because sometimes they're like serving the armed forces, or they're out of the country. And so they can contact you when they can. So it's just like, I'm grateful that, hey, you thought of me. Now, another bullet point, which I feel is key with intimacy and being close, is you want eye contact. And I feel it's key to show like it's key because you're looking into the person's eyes and you're showing that you're just listening to what they are expressing. It also shows that you're fully there, alert, and focused on what they have to say. Now, I want to really just hone in on that, because this is a generation where we have all this different technology and we're always on our phone. And a lot of my close friends know that if I'm talking to you about something serious and you're on your phone, I'm going to feel some type of way, because to me, it's just communicating that what I'm saying is not important. And it's just, whoever you're texting is more important than what I have to say. You guys may say whatever you want about that, but I'm just going to communicate it like it is. If you had to tell someone like, I guess, and not saying that everything I talk to them about is an emergency, but if you had to talk to someone about an emergency, like, oh my gosh, I'm going through it, like, God damn it, I need to go to some place to help me. And the person's on the phone like, oh, okay. You gonna feel some type of way. It's like, oh, okay, so whoever you texting or whoever you sending that picture of that dog to is more important than what I have to say. And that's really key. It's all about body language. And eye contact is one of those things that shows I'm here, I'm listening, I'm focused on you. And, your phone is like not nowhere around you. But it's just something about that connection also when you look at a person in their eye. Now, I know that was another thing that this particular person told me that they struggle with. I will say that as a kid, I struggled with looking at adults and people in general in their eyes. And it wasn't for a lack of fear on my end. It was uncomfortable, because when I looked at a person's eyes, I just always got stuff from them that at the time I didn't really know how to handle and or know what to do. Like, for example, I could look at an adult in their eyes, and I could feel like this person, they're smiling, but they're really sad, like there's some stuff going on. And as a kid, it was just like, I don't know what to tell them. I feel this, but I don't know what to say to them. And, I struggled with looking at people in the eyes, because it was like, I don't want to like, feel all of these things. But when it came to realizing that I had to communicate with people, I really did have to work on looking at people in their eyes. And there are still very few occasions where it can feel a little uncomfortable just staring at a person's in their eyes, because it's just like, okay, I'm looking at you in your eyes for so long. It's just like, okay, I say move a bit, like move around a bit, like look at the person like I do a triangle, look at the person in the right eye, look at them right in between their eyes, like, or their third eye, look like right up above, look at the left eye, look at the nose, kind of stay in that realm, just to kind of move your eyes around, you know what I mean? But it looks like you're looking into their eyes. That's just what I do. Like if it's like really like weird or uncomfortable. And, that takes practice. And after a while, once you do that, you can make that eye contact. But for that other person who is receiving, that you're looking in their eyes, there is a type of connection. There is this feeling of wanting to be closer because you are listening. Like they say, the eyes are the windows to the soul and stuff like that. So y'all making some soul connections. You know what I mean? Look at each other in the eyes and like talk and stuff. And this does not have to be romantically. This can be in business. This can be in just friendship and stuff like that. So I notice a lot of people kind of really don't do that. But, it shows a lot when you do. So I wanted to really just hone in on that. And pretty much the last bullet point, guys, is this one is super simple, but show that you care in some way. It really goes like a long way. And not too many people get this, believe it or not. Not too many get like, people sharing and people talking to them and letting them know that they care about them. And it's super simple things. Like if you're listening to that person and you're really like building that intimacy and you're getting close, you start to learn certain things that this person may like. All of my friends that I talk to, I can tell you something about them that I know they'd like, or I can tell you something that I do to show that I care. I have some friends. I think I'm the friend that calls the most out of all of my friends. I think I'm the one out of all of my friends. I call them, or if I text, because some of my friends, they're super busy. So I think I'm the one I always call and check and see how their day is. I think I go through like a whole list of friends. I'm like, hey, how was your day? Or, what are you up to? Or things like that. Or, hey, I seen this and I thought of you. I think you may like this. It's just little acts of showing that you care when you're getting close with people because they feel it. They don't have to question, well, what's this person's motive? It's just like, oh, no, I'm genuinely showing that I care. And guys, when I say show that you care, you don't have to do like, let me say this. You're open to doing many different things to show that you care. Because I feel like, especially in this generation, when we hear that, our first thought is to think, okay, I need to spend some type of money on this person to show that I care. And if I don't, it's not, it's not genuine. And guys, like that is far from the truth. You can do that, god dang it, if you want, but there's so many ways. Like, again, you can call a person, ask how they're doing. If you want to get that person a gift or something, let them know you thought of them. That works too. Even picking up a friend from, if they're close to you, like, hey, let's go for a ride somewhere. And they're like, okay, where? Like, hey, I know you like I know some friends who love a good nature walk. I'm like, hey, I know this new nature trail. Let's just go over there and walk and talk and stuff like that. You're showing that you care. You're showing, your time and things like that. I mean, I have some friends who are into stuff that I am nowhere near interested in and I know nothing about, but I don't let that stop me because I know that's something that they are genuinely passionate about and they care for. So I will do things to ask them more about it because I care about them. I want to know more about it because I know that's something that they're passionate about. Like I have my brother, he loves cars and he loves like specific things with computers. I think like IT, information technology, different stuff like that. I love computers, but I don't know stuff that deep. I don't know nothing about cars, but I'll ask him, when he's talking about a car, hey, what type of car you like? I may not remember the name particular, but I know he says common things. It's fast. It has this. It has this horsepower. So I take that chance to learn. Or when he's talking about information stuff, and I'm just like, okay, I know nothing about this, but I'm going to ask and not let my ignorance keep me from, showing that I care about what my brother's interested in. And when I do that, I actually learn a few things that he talks about, like IP addresses. He talks about like different hubs and networks. It's just like, okay, and he breaks it down for me because when I really don't know something, you have to break it down for me like a third grader. That's just the best way I learn. And I just remember how he said with like IP address and different things, it's like an address. And he just made it super simple for me. I'm like, oh, I feel like I gained something here. So it's just different acts that you guys can do. And you will be very surprised at how far that goes. And building that intimacy with that individual will just be easy. And then also too, when they do the same things that I just listed to you, because you set the tone and created the space for them to do that in the relationship, everything will just go smooth and you guys will be super close. And intimacy will be something easy. It'll just be natural to you. And also just be aware, again, there are some people who, just aren't, don't want intimacy. They're just not there. And that's okay. That's not bad for you, that you respect them. So that's it with this podcast, guys. I'm sorry about the I've been super excited about just this podcast and a lot of different things. But yeah, guys, so that's it for this podcast. I greatly appreciate you guys for the support. Like, this past few weeks, you guys have been awesome. I've been hearing a lot of people sharing the podcast with different friends. Our numbers for the downloads have been growing and different things like that. I'm noticing that the podcast is starting to sprinkle in different countries. I know I've mentioned them before, but I see it on the little statistics like Australia, UK, Switzerland. There was another one I feel like I'm missing. I'm not sure. But also, besides out of the country, just in the country, the states alone, I've been noticing there's been a growing number of listeners in California. So you guys, I appreciate you. There's been numbers in New York and Maryland, obviously Florida, and just different other places in the States. So it's just really been growing. And for you guys, I appreciate you listening every week. I appreciate you guys for the support. I appreciate you for sharing the podcast, and the feedback you guys have been giving me has been amazing. Like, you guys have been just like melting my heart over here, because I'm just super excited to just help you guys or help whoever and it's just really fun. I just love it, like just sharing this, and we just like come together in a weekend. It's just really cool, guys. I'm super excited. I love doing this. You guys are the reason for this, so I appreciate you. And with that being said, I love you guys. You have an amazing rest of the week, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Later.